our next question, which is, should a woman take care of a man? Should a woman take care of a man?
Define a woman taking care of a man.
Okay, so you know how society has this stigma where the man is the breadwinner, and the woman is, well, now things have changed, but if you look at traditionally society, the man is the breadwinner, whereas the woman is more as like the how do you put, like someone who take care of the house, someone who cares for the family, you know, the kids. So they have those roles.
Homemaker.
Yeah. So what if it's switch, where is the woman who is the breadwinner, who is taking care of the man in a sense?
Does a man has 2 hands, 2 legs, a head?
But there are a lot of people who are in this situation where the man stays home and the woman is the one working and providing.
I think, you know, well, if we're going back to, you know, the tradition and what it was also based on in that time,
right,
you know, what we were dealing with in that time. But our society has evolved a lot, where I believe these days is what worked best for the couple, what worked best for you guys, you know, because there are situations where, you know, both spouses, they could have jobs, but then one person's job might be more beneficial in a sense that, you know, you have more benefits and all that stuff, and then the other person is not. So maybe the other person, maybe that's the husband, maybe he will have to sacrifice to be a stay-at-home dad,
right,
while the mom, you know, goes out and provide. So I just think it's what works best for people. I don't really think there's a particular stand on that.
All right, so the other question too is reverse, which is, should a man take care of a woman?
Is that a question?
Should a man take care of a woman?
Is that a question?
It's a question. And okay, the reason why I asked this, and it all boils back down to the story of Ruth and Boaz. Let us take a look at Ruth, okay? Based on Ruth chapter 2, this woman was someone who was not afraid to work and take care of her family, okay? So when she went out there to work in the fields, putting aside the fact that she's a foreigner in a place where she doesn't know anybody, and back then being a foreigner puts you at a great risk where, you know, you can get attacked, you can get raped. She put all those, you know, worries and fears aside and said, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to work, because Naomi's too old to, you know, go out there to fend for herself. So I'll take care of Naomi. So I'll go out there and I'll work to provide for my family. And in the process of working, she met Boaz, who was also the owner of the field that she was working in. And he was already established. Both of these two people were hard-working people when they came together, okay? So in a sense, Ruth is bringing something to the table. Boaz is also bringing something to the table as well. Which brings, because sometimes, you know, there are certain stigmas where I've heard certain men make comments like, you know, why should men be the breadwinner? You know what I mean? A woman too can go out there and bring the bread, which is true.
New age men, we need to get ready.
I mean, no, but they have a point. I mean, nowadays things have changed where both men and women in the same household with children are working to provide. And depending on the couple, maybe it's easier for the woman to stay at home to care for the, you know, the family, you know, take care of the house, and the man to go out there and work. If he makes enough income, you know, where it can sustain them without her, you know, she having to work. If that works for them, that's great. You know what I mean? And
both
vice
parties,
versa.
I feel like both parties have to agree.
Have to come to that agreement.
You know, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
If both sit down and decide and feel like, okay, I'm happy with this in my heart, deep within, then that's totally fine.
Right.
Because the issue has been like, you know, one person is like, yeah, and then the other person is like, oh no, you know, that's like my culture doesn't take that, or where I'm coming from, that's like a
yes,
whole big issue.
Yes, culture plays a huge role. I do feel some type of way when a woman is out there working, the man stays at home and does nothing, or stays home with the kids, unless it's an agreement, okay, where both parties have agreed that okay, this is what is working. But I know of a situation, I'll share this story with you, where the man lost his job, okay, they were just newly wed, so no kids involved, and the man lost his job, so it was just the woman who was working. And what happened was, the man was like, oh, he's going to apply for a new job. 6 months later, he still haven't found any job. And then the woman noticed like he's not really trying to find another job. He's just always at home watching sports. So it came to a point where, it started becoming an issue where she talked to the man that, her partner, that...
What's up? You gonna go get a job?
Exactly. And he started giving excuses, one thing after another, and like the relationship started deteriorating. And these are some of the issues where I feel like, know who you're with. Like while in the process of dating, she was sharing like the story while they were dating, like, it was hard for him to keep a job, like he didn't really want to work. And was, always asking for help, always asking for money while they were dating before even settling down, and marrying. So I'm like, you also have to be careful, to look out for those signs also. Because if that's how the person was while you were dating them, then most likely that's how they're going to be after you marry them. You know what I mean? You can't. So now, I don't know whether they're going to get divorced. I don't know what's going on. But I know that things are really tough for them right now. And these are real life issues where you got to know who you're with. Somebody who has that mindset that, you know what I mean? Even if you both agree, like, okay, I've lost my job. For you to get a job, I know I'm going to get another job to take care of my family. Or we are both working to bring something to the table. Not just one person. You know what I mean? Because even if a woman is at home, their work is really tough. Caring for the children, caring for the household, it's not an easy job. So if a woman is in that role, you can't say that's all, the man is at disadvantage, because he's bringing home the bacon, and she's also making sure the kids are taken care of, well fed, the house is in good order, he comes, he has a good place to lay his head. So, all those factors play into it too.
It also goes back to the beginning, like we said, you have to know, as a person, even as a single person, you have to know who you are, know where you're going, know what you want. So go back to Adam and Eve, for instance. When God created Eve, when God created Eve, Adam had a particular purpose. Adam had a job. He was responsible for taking care of the garden. The whole garden, and I mean the garden, not the small backyard garden. The whole garden, big enough for it probably could be a big nation. Adam was responsible for all these things. When Eve came along, Eve was there to help Adam along.
Be a helper.
So at any point in time, Adam had a job. So as a single, a man or a woman, if you find your purpose, you know what your purpose is. It's nowadays, like, people want to jump in a relationship, they don't know where they're going. If you don't know where you're going, I'm telling you, do not jump in the relationship, because when you come in, that person is able to change your focus and change your mind. When you pray to God and you sought God's face, and God said, this is where, like God said, Derek, this is where you're going. When somebody comes in and that person tries to change who you are, change your purpose, you can just tell that person, step, because you are not in line with God.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, that's true. But you just have to make sure the person, so if as a man, you don't know, or as a woman, you're dating a man, and a man, it's very difficult for the man to keep a job. The man, you kind of see laziness tendencies in this man's thing. Oh yeah, step. Because, like Beverly said, this man is going to be the exact same way when you get married. You're not going to change a man. There is no amount of superpowers, no amount of food, no amount of anything that you can do to change this man's behavior, because that behavior has likely been ingrained in him for a very long time, and it's very difficult to teach old dog new tricks. The man is not just going to get and say, okay, I'm going to change my life around. No, it's a process. So if you see any of these, same thing for men. If you see some tendencies in women as
signs,
well,
look for them signs.
That you know are red flags, and it's some red flags you can look past, but you need to pay attention.
What kind of red flags do you look past?
We'll get back to that.
Yeah, we should call it red flags.
So there are certain
Past
things.
yellow flag.
But red flags,
yellow
don't
flag.
pass red flags.
So there are certain things that you can look past and come back to it and deal with it. But then there are certain things that you cannot. The moment you see those things, you have to stop and you have to reevaluate again before you move on. Because if you brush it aside and say that, oh yeah, that's okay, he only did it one time, it's twice, maybe 3 times, it'll be okay. Yeah, those 3 times will turn into 10, 20 times. And by that time, you are so far deep, it's going to be difficult to get up. So you need to make sure, and it's a must. No, sit down, talk to the person. Maybe, be playfully joking with the person like, hey, so what are you going to do after school? You have to let the person, you can joke around with it, but also be serious about it. Talk about these things. What are your goals? You just finished high school. You're going to go to college, you're going to get a job, you're going to do something. Or you just finished college, are you going to get your master's, your PhD? What are you going to do? And what are you going to do with that degree? Are you going to get a job? And all these things, what are your plans? What are your 5-year goals? 10-year goals? At least take a book from what? Act like a woman, think like a man, something like that. Yeah, be...
Steve Harvey.
Yeah, Steve Harvey spoke. Yeah, ask put it in there, or ask her, what's your 5-year goal? Your 10-year goal? Your 15? They may not know that far out, but at least they should have a plan as to where they want to be. And if they don't have that plan, y'all need to work on it.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to ask questions based on trying to know people's perspective on certain things. Like let me say if you're saying, okay, I'm dating this person, you should not date that person and then marry that person and then find out, oh, well, you don't want to have kids while you are married. That is the point of you getting to,
dating. Yeah.
So you should ask questions. What's your view about kids? What's your view about, whatever stuff? Sex before marriage, or, bringing up kids in a God-fearing home, public schools, private schools. Maybe not right down to public school, private schools, but you should be able to get the person's view based on values and stuff like that.
Right, and another big issue that a lot of people don't kind of see it as important until later on after they settle down, then it becomes an issue. And I brought this up before, and I'm just gonna hit on it, hit the nail on the head again. If you meet someone, and like I said, you're a Christian, and you meet someone who's a non-Christian, or someone who is of a different religion than you are, and you have to force the person to come to church. You're always trying to talk the person to go to church with you, and they don't want to, okay? But, in the beginning of dating, to please you, they decide to go ahead and, just to cut off any argument, they go with you. When the Bible talks about being equally yoked, this is one of the things the Bible is talking about, okay? It's easier for you to meet or get involved with someone who is where you are, okay? If you're going to church, it's easier to date someone who's also going to church, who has the same beliefs as you, the same, okay, I believe in God, I believe in going to church every Sunday, I believe in prayers, I believe in fasting, I believe in the Holy Spirit. It's easier to find somebody who has that same mindset. If you meet someone who's of a different religion, and then you try to change them from that, no disrespect to any other religion, you can't force somebody to change. You know what I mean? So when you settle down, you're both married, and you're going off to church. Now that person doesn't want to go with you, and you get upset. Why you don't want to go to church with me? Why you don't want to pray with me? Why you don't want to fast with me? Yada, yada, yada. You knew this was who they were when you were dating them. See, that's why a lot of people have that mindset that, oh, the person who I'm with, they will change eventually. You can't change somebody. Only God can. Only that person can, if they want to. You know what I mean? So don't have that mindset where that, okay, I will try, after that. And then if you start arguing, there are even some marriages where the husband will even forbid the wife to go to church, or forbid the wife to even pray. And it becomes a huge torn in that marriage. And the man, if that's who it's happening to, or the woman, will be like, where did I go wrong? You went wrong from the beginning. When you ignore those signs. you know, those red flags, you ignore them. And decided to just go ahead and do your whole thing, which all boils back to the main issue, seeking God. You know what I mean? Seek God while you're praying. What is the Holy Spirit speaking to you? What is He telling you in your spirit? You know, how do you really truly feel? Are you genuinely compatible with this person, or you just feel lovey-dovey? You feel the butterflies in your stomach and all those other stuff. So you ignore all those signs. You know what I mean? Or you're so focused on the physical, you know, beauty, or how handsome the person is, or how good-looking they are. So your mind is all caught up on those
All
things.
the money.
Or in the money, how well established the person is. So you don't care about all those things. But once you are in it, in that marriage, and you know all those signs that you ignored, it rears its ugly head, and you're like, where did I go wrong? I'll tell you where you went wrong from the beginning.
Yeah, also, like one thing that a good friend of mine always tells me, it's like, you know, when, or even, I'm sure you've heard the same, like when people fall in love, like they kind of get a little dumber. Because like all the common sense decides to leave them. So when you're in love, you overlook a lot of things, you know, and that also brings up a lot of problems. No amount of love is going to fix a relationship that's falling apart. That's just simple. You can have all the love that you want, but if there's no understanding, the Bible says what? Without, how can two walk together unless they agree? It didn't say unless they're in love, unless they agree. So if you guys don't agree on certain things, that relationship, it's not going to work. That relationship, that relationship is going to fall. That relationship is going to fail. You have to set those boundaries. You have to ask those tough questions in the beginning. How does that person, if you invite that person to come to church the first time after you guys go out, like, oh, what are you doing Saturday night? And you say, oh, I have to go to Echo's rehearsal. Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Maybe I'd like to come out and watch you guys rehearse. Or what are you doing this Sunday? Oh, I sing in my church choir. We're having a program this Sunday. Would you like to come? The person say, I don't know. Or the person didn't tell you what church to go to. Or anytime you bring up church, to try to change the topic. And you know, as a Christian, that's a red flag. You need to watch out for those things. There's this thing, they say, what's the triangle thingy? I don't know if you can see, it's a triangle. You have God on the top, the girl on the left or on the right, and the guy on the left or on the right. And it says that, well, you two can't get any closer until the closer you guys get to God, the closer you guys get to each other. That's what it should be in the relationship. You always have to put God first. You have to help each other get closer to God, because that's how you really get to understand each other. And another thing now, people out there, it's easy to fall in love with the girl when she has on makeup. It's easy to fall in love with the girl because she's beautiful. It's easy to fall in love with all these, the guy, because the guy can preach. The girl can sing. The guy has money. The guy drives the fancy cars and all these things. The girl can dress well. But will you still love that person? Will you still be with that person when the person's real monsters come out? What's really inside the person, that if I stand before the pulpit, I'm a different person than when you see me outside? Are you able to fall in love with a Derek outside the pulpit? Or do you love me because you saw me? Or do you like me because you saw me in front of the pulpit? Do you like the girl because the girl was able to sing at church? Or do you like the girl when the girl lays down everything that she's going through, the things that she cannot let anyone know, the secrets, the past, the hurts and all that? Are you able to fall in love with that? It's very easy for people to fall in love with this superficial things when it comes to the matters of the heart, when it comes to the deep things, and when that person needs you to be there. Are you able to understand that? Many people are not. I know in the beginning, so people come with lots of baggages. I have my baggage, Bev has a baggage, Quinta has her baggage. Some people's baggages are more than others. Are you able to handle those? After all the, the butterflies have passed out, after all the googly eyes have passed, after the I love you has passed, are you able to love that person just the same? And if you're not, you don't need to be in that relationship with that person.
Amen.
Word. So, this takes us to our final question for today.
Hey, there's more questions.
Finally.
Hey! Ignore them. They're really happy to be here. Okay, they are so happy.
Just still holding on the malts. I still want malts.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do if your relationship is not working?
I think what Derek said is very important. Figure out why you're having issues.
Roots.
Is it because, like we said before, is this person having, you guys' problem based on, maybe God issues, or maybe this person is spending so much money, just buying stuff. Maybe this person is not serious about their life. And because I know, like, most times with girls, when you start seeing somebody and then you realize that maybe this person is just don't want to do anything with their life, or not inspired or not driven, and you start feeling like, like it's your place to try to change them, but meanwhile it's not your place, so you keep having arguments. I would say in that kind of situation, because you can't change that person and that person has to change for themselves, there's really no need for you to be there. Meanwhile, that's not what you want. But then again, there are certain areas where if it's simple things about communication or trying to work things out, I think, it is worth it trying to work things out, because no relationship is perfect. You're always going to have difficulties. You're always going to have, obstacles, but that is how you also test the strength of your relationship. And that is how you also grow in your relationship. So I think it will be based on what the issue is, which boils down to figuring out what the issue is.
Yeah, and things are not working out. What are the things that are not working out? You know what I mean? There's so many factors that play a role in this. Okay, and I will use some examples, real life examples that I've witnessed. Could be that
Witness or experience.
No, witness.
Okay.
Witnessed. And also I'll share some experiences to you too. Okay, so this is a witness. Okay, you meet someone who you're dating, and things aren't working out based on the fact that, number one, sometimes you prayed about it and you asked for certain things, and what you asked for, like, you were expecting something, and it showed you that, okay, the person you're with is not actually the right person for you. And that's why, and that explains why all these sort of issues have been coming up. I've experienced that. And what do you do if you encounter such a situation? To me, I prayed about it, and I decided to listen to, what the revelation that I had. And I believe that God reveals to redeem. So if God reveals something to you about the person you're with, and if you both talk about it, God, it shouldn't lead to an argument, or it should lead to a place where you both come to an understanding where it's like, we both know this is not working. We both know this is not gonna go anywhere, where we want it to go. So it's best to end it here instead of wasting each other's time, And that was where I knew, okay, this is actually really God trying to redirect me in the right path. Because it wasn't where it was like, it was just me who had this revelation. The other person also had the same revelation. So when we came together to talk, to end things, we were all both on the same page. Like, okay, we both need to move on and go our separate ways. No fighting. We're still friends. So there was no issue whatsoever. So there's these two people who are in a relationship. And the young man has a child from a different relationship. And it was creating an issue where the woman suspected that the man was with the previous woman who he has a child with. Because they have a child, so they have that bond, that connection. So that created an issue of suspicion and, okay, what are you going on? You don't pick your phone at certain times. All these issues came up. And it came to a point where, she felt like, okay, I shouldn't be in this relationship. But the other man didn't want to let her go. So she also stayed. So in situations like this, I'm throwing it out there to your audience. What should she do?
I think the main thing shouldn't be all about, oh, I'm looking for a spouse, I'm looking for a husband, I'm looking for a wife. I know we talked about this before. Go out, live your life. Singleness is a blessing. There's so many things you can do. Like, Beverly and I
appreciate it now. Because once you settle down,
you won't
it'll be hard to do the
advocate for
things.
yourself.
Yeah.
You know, be a woman. Like, do what you want to do. If you, especially as young professionals, you know, if you want to travel, if you want to, you know, whatever, if you want to buy a house, go ahead and live your life. Because I feel like in the process of you living your life, that's when it's easier to find somebody that is best for you, as compared to like, I'm looking, I'm finding here, I'm going to this to find, and all that kind of stuff. Like, you just gonna run through the wrong people.
And it boils back down to Ruth and Boaz. I believe when Ruth went to that field, she didn't even know Boaz owned that field. She wasn't even thinking about meeting a man yet. While doing the things, the right things, you know, doing what she loved, working, she met the right man for her. Same thing with Boaz. He didn't know he was going to run into, you know, Ruth. But they end up, while, you know, doing their own thing, they end up meeting each other, you know, and establishing a relationship, which led to marriage. So if you're single, don't be ashamed, okay, of being single. Or if you feel like, oh, your friends are sending you, you're still there. Look, I believe there's a right time and a right place for everything. Never look at somebody who's married or your friends who are in a relationship and be like, oh, I wish I could have what they have. You don't know what they have, okay? They said the grass is always greener on the other side. That's not true. Okay, to get to the other side, you realize, oh my goodness, this is what this person's actually going through in this relationship. I thought it was all, you know, roses and, you know, fields of nice flowers. No, you don't know what people are really going through. So never, try to wish for what somebody has. Pray that God sends you your own. So while you're single now, I say live your life. You know what I mean? Live your life to the full. The things that you wanted to do, go ahead and do it. Because once you marry and the kids come,
you might not be able to.
I mean,
you're gonna have your hands are gonna be full.
I mean, that is true too. But then,
but I feel like you have more room when you're single. Because if I want to travel with my friends, I can just go off and do whatever I want. But when you settle or when you have a partner, then you have to decide, make your decisions also with, while talking to your partner.
You can't just get up and go.
Exactly.
Now you have a bigger responsibility.
Yeah.
Also, I think, with that also comes some of the issues that people have these days. That if the question becomes, let's say, like you say, I'm talking to someone, how long do you define talking? At what point does this stop being talking and does it turn into dating? And then at what point does this stop being dating, then it turns into we're boyfriend and girlfriend? When you get married, that we know that you're married, but at what point, there's...
You get serious.
There are time frames about it, and then I see there are a lot of people these days that, because they want to do some of the things that you do mentioned, that they want to travel, they want to go here. Some people, I'm not against putting labels on your relationship or whatnot, but if you are talking to someone and you know that it's going to go somewhere serious, then what's stopping you from saying, okay, we're boyfriend and girlfriend? I feel like some people use that as a way to cop out and be selfish because they want to do their own things. Mm-hmm. Like, so why will I say that I'm talking to you and we've been talking for 6-7 months? For those 6-7 months, what exactly am I trying to know about you that is not making me make that decision that, okay, I want to be with you?
Well, I personally think that it's important to, before you just rush up and start dating someone, you get to know each other first, okay? And the process of getting to know, you're actually, not that you're just talking. When we say talking, we mean asking the person certain questions like, do you want to have kids? What are your beliefs? Is married?
That's kind of like
in a sense, but like there's no,
there's no commitment.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yet.
And that's and then that's the issue that I'm getting up to, because there are a lot of people, there's a lot of guys, there are a lot of girls I would say, there are a lot of guys I would say, oh yeah, I'm just talking to her. Like, if you're asking this person, like, okay, do you want to have kids? It shouldn't take 7 months to ask this person, do you want to have kids?
But why would you choose 7 months?
No, I'm just saying, because that's what some people will say, oh yeah, how long have you been talking? Oh, 3-4 months. Really? What exactly have you been talking about that you haven't made that decision that you're going to, that this person you want to be today? And people say, I say people use talking as a cop-out sometimes for some people. So this is what one of my mentors said. He said, well, a date, when people say date, we think it's like this big old excuse, like, oh, your boyfriend. No, a date is meeting at a place, having an appointed time at an appointed place. That's a date. So you can be dating someone, you can be dating 2 or 3, 4 people, but when you say you're dating 3, 4 people, people have different, but people don't understand people don't know what dating really means. You can have an appointed day and appointed time. This year is a date because we set a date, we set a time, and we're meeting here. We're talking about certain things. You can go on a date with someone. You can go on a date with this person. Go on a date with this person. But I feel like people have become selfish these days because now the options are so plenty that they want to go. Okay, people when someone asks you like, oh, what's going on? Oh, I'm just talking to Beverly. Oh, what's going on with you and Quinta? I'm just talking to Quinta. But you guys have been talking for God knows when, before Jesus was born, and you're still talking. Like, what exactly are you guys talking about? And it becomes a problem because I feel lots of people have been used. Lots of people are using that as an excuse to not make a commitment. And that's becoming a problem in society because people are afraid. Yeah, commitment it takes a lot of responsibility, and people are not ready for that. So if you're not ready for that commitment, do not waste somebody else's time.
All right, so this ends our discussion for today. We're gonna have more discussions. You know, like I said, it's a relationship series and stuff. So if you have any questions or any topic that you would like for us to discuss, put it down in the description. No, I'm sorry, the comment section below.
Yes.
And we will talk about it. And okay, so thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we have more videos coming your way. So thank you so much for watching.
God
Bye-bye.
bless you.
God bless you. Bye.
Yeah,